Bronx, singing, that career, connected with the mob, connected with politicians, a generous heart, worried about minorities, just so many different angles, just incredible. You could do a mini series. You could do a, quote, series. I was mentioning Sopranos 25 years ago, earlier this week, released, came out on HBO. What was it, Wednesday? Yeah, 25 years ago, Wednesday. I mentioned Godfather of Harlem. Unlike Sopranos, Godfather of Harlem is based off of real-life true stuff. Forrest Whitaker crushing that role as Bumpy Johnson in Godfather of Harlem, as well as James Gandolfini doing Tony Soprano in The Sopranos. Forrest Whitaker, amazing. Now, you could do a Godfather of Harlem type thing on Frank Sinatra. Wow, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you all the way till 6 o'clock. The usual suspects. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Fletcher Mackel coming up in about 12 minutes. Of course, we're trying to get Travers Mackel on the program. He wasn't available. We had to settle on Fletcher, and we're going to have Fletcher pretend he's Travers and get some real good information, hopefully. Fletcher Mackel, 12 minutes away on the program. There goes the neighborhood. Coming up in less than 30 minutes, Michael Hecht. 20 years of Greater New Orleans, Inc. Michael Hecht will join us. Today they had their annual luncheon, their annual meeting. About 1,500 folks concerned about New Orleans' economy and its future were in attendance earlier today at the Hyatt Regency. Michael Hecht, less than 30 minutes away. Frank Brigsten, James Beard Award-winning chef, owner, operator, Brigtsen's restaurant in the Riverbend. He joins us in the 5 o'clock power hour. It's that kind of day. Thank goodness that Monday through Friday grind can wear you out, can beat you up, especially how we do the program. We're not hiding. We're not running from topics. I like scanning the dial and listening to other radio. I say this honestly. I think New Orleans is a talk radio desert. There's very little quality talk radio in New Orleans. Very little. But some of it, especially the marginal players, it's almost so bad it's good. It's funny. There's one show I check out sometimes in mid-morning. I think they just go on the air with a blank sheet of paper. They just come on and start yucking it up. It's like worse than what Fletcher and I do when he joins me and we're just talking about his electric bike or his old diesel Mercedes, or did he have a good po' boy? I mean, that's every day, this program. I just laugh. They're going to have a bomb go off, a building burning downtown, and they're just yucking it up. Just arbitrary. They don't even know what they're going to talk about. It's mind-blowing. It's like, wow, you're on the radio doing a talk show. Maybe there should be some idea of what you're trying to do that day and actually have a goal and have some idea of what you're going to talk about and do some research and try to come up with something insightful. Instead, they just start talking and I guess think their usual conversation is, interesting. And then there's some programs I check out, former FM disc jockeys that have faded on into the talk radio realm. It's kind of funny. Not a lot of depth or experience or knowledge, yet they're on yapping. I think most folks are like me. I think you just kind of go in knowing it's going to be something light. There's a morning guy. There's a midday guy, a couple of midday guys, former disc jockeys doing talk. You don't get too deep. You get lots of giggling and laughing. Usually they don't have a sense of humor. That's the scary part. Oh, boy. Anyway, no, I like zipping around the dial. I check in for 2-3 minutes here, 2-3 minutes there. I wish it wasn't such a talk radio desert. I wish there were other great programs on talk radio you could check out. But for me, it's not really too much out there. And I love the medium. I love talk radio. But every day, Monday through Thursday especially, we bring it 110%, not scared. No one's dictating the show. Don't have to worry about offending someone, a neighborhood, a group of people, an advertiser, none of that. We just do our thing every single day. Always have done it that way. Won't stop. I work for you. I'm for the city of New Orleans. That's why it pained me so much to have to tweet this today. Quinn Hillier had a great article. He lives in Mobile, Alabama. I think Stinson is the mayor's name. He's like a 3-term mayor. They've just done phenomenally well in the last 20 years. Mobile, a concerted effort to grow and expand, and they've done so much. Austal, the shipbuilder, Airbus building planes, literally building planes in Mobile. The port of Mobile is taken off. They have an interstate loop. They've annexed some outlying counties and brought them into Mobile under one jurisdiction. They're about to build a $1 billion bridge over the river, a $1 billion Jubilee Parkway to the eastern shore, kind of Mobile's north shore. I can go on and on and on. Just incredible growth, moving forward, jettisoning the past, the broken Mobile past, and, not going to be some broken, dysfunctional southern town or city. Going to move forward. No, New Orleans could learn a lot, sadly, from smaller Mobile, Alabama, or just slightly smaller Birmingham, Alabama. No, that pains me, but it's true. The state of Louisiana could learn from the state of Alabama. And LSU, Nick Saban retiring. All this talk has been about the University of Alabama's growth. All these sports people getting out of their lane, getting clearly out of their lane, not really knowing what they're talking about. The University of Alabama has grown because of Nick Saban and the success of the Alabama football team. And there's no doubt that has helped Alabama grow. But before Nick Saban ever walked on the Alabama campus, a good decade before, Alabama, the University of, said, we're going to build dorms and classrooms and bring in national merit scholars. Any national merit scholar can come to the University of Alabama absolutely free. We're going to be a national university, bring kids in from other states, plus tuition's 3 times as much when we get an out-of-state kid. So they committed themselves to grow. They were about 18,000 students. When Nick Saban got to Alabama, they were around 25, 26, 27,000 students. 07, 08. So they grew by about 10,000 students, 9 or 10,000 students before Nick Saban ever walked on the campus. And then the growth continued at the exact same pace when Nick Saban got there. And they grew by another 10,000 students when Nick Saban was there. So these are just the facts, not me with an opinion. You can look up the numbers yourself. Grew from 18,000 to around 27,000 or so in 10 years, and then grew by another 10,000 students the next 10 years to about 38,000 when Saban came on board. So in typical, sports guys sometimes need to stay in their lane. No, Nick Saban helped Alabama continue their growth, but academics led the way, not Alabama football and Nick Saban, and that's a fact. Look up the numbers yourself. It helped. It was a big plus. I'm not saying it's a negative. Free marketing contributed to what was already in place. You don't credit Nick Saban for building Alabama into the university it is today. The academic folks 30 years ago, you credit them 25 years ago. Pre-Nick Saban, they got the ball rolling. LSU in Baton Rouge, are you listening? Academics like Alabama? Yeah. Sadly, yeah. Fletcher Mackel next. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Wait, Miss Peaches, I'm finishing up a phone call with Mrs. Mackel, Fletcher, and Traver's mom real quick before we... Don't let Fletcher hear this, all right? Yes, ma'am. No. You sent the check to the right place. Yes, I'm getting your son on every single week, like you said. I know he needs friends. I've been trying to get some other people involved. Yes, I've been bringing some girls along, too. He scares them off. Still that scaring them off thing. Yes, yeah, the check's cleared. I'm happy with the amount of money you're paying me to bring your son on the radio show. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mrs. Mackel. You too. Take care. Good talking to you. Corey Johnson back with you on a Friday. Hey, Fletcher Mackel joins us on the program. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. What's up?
Not too much. talking to somebody you knew just a minute ago.
So
What? What?
What?
You don't think I was just talking to your mom about payments she sends me every week to get you on the program?
yeah, it's a good conversation. I bet. I hope it was all good.
She's very nice. She's a sweet lady. And a while back, she's like, help my son with friends and women to date and, put him on the show. He needs some help and I'll pay you cash money. I said, you got a deal, lady. And it's been that way ever since.
There you go.
All right,
like
Fletch,
it.
you're ready to get into some serious stuff. We don't have time for your usual messing around. We're not going to talk about the diesel Mercedes. We're not going to talk about the electric bike. All right.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. Wow. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. I mean, Pete Carroll's like a big story. He's like, Pete who? Anyway, your comments. Big week.
And crazy week. I mean, look, you're talking about like two of arguably the greatest NFL coach ever and the greatest college football. I know Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach ever. I mean, and I'm pretty sure Belichick is one of the greatest NFL coaches, if not just simply the greatest NFL coach. So, I mean, you're talking about like two titans of their industry that are stepping aside. And look, Pete Carroll is, I mean, look, he won at USC. He took Seattle to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. I mean, he is not in that category, Saban Belichick, but Pete Carroll is a truly great coach and another one who is stepping down. Now, look.
And Belichick, though, the one constant is Brady. There's no player connected to Saban because it's college. It's a different game. But that makes Saban clearly the greatest college coach. No one's arguing that. But you brought up a good point. Belichick may not be the greatest NFL coach because it's Brady the whole time and hadn't done much without Brady. It's sort of like, believe it or not, Sean Payton. All of it's Drew Brees. The 2 seasons of no Drew Brees, he's 500 as a coach. So you bring up a good point about the Saban for sure. Belichick, maybe. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, and let me say this too. And look, I get it. Belichick was tied to Brady for so long, but they still won at a clip that was unprecedented.
No doubt.
And I know Brady went on and won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, proving that, he was probably more of a factor than anything. But still, just to win at that high of a level that is unprecedented and never seen before in the history of the sport is amazing. And so I would say he's arguably the best, if not the best. I'll say this, though. I think Saban's done. I think he jokingly said he doesn't know what he's going to do, but he's going to be playing 18 holes every day, which I thought was great. I think Belichick's going to end up coaching again, and I think Pete Carroll's going to end up coaching again. Like, it would not surprise me if Pete Carroll is the coach of the Chargers next year and Bill Belichick's coaching against the Saints twice a year, leading the Falcons.
Hey, Fletch, Nick Saban says he's going to stick around. They got an office for him at the stadium. He's staying in Tuscaloosa. Your boy from Washington's got a tough follow-up. There's no doubt. I mean, not only do you have to follow up that guy's going to be there every day almost. That's crazy. He's going to have an influence on you and your job. Saban's part of the Alabama athletic department.
Yeah. I mean, look, following a legend is never easy. It's usually impossible, and it usually doesn't turn out well for the person who, quote unquote, followed the legend, because they'll never be the legend. But I'll say this. Bama is Bama. They are the greatest program in the history of college football.
Yep.
They are an absolute powerhouse juggernaut on a level completely different than everybody else. Georgia's getting there, but Bama's history, Bama right now, in the last 15 years, and where they are now, they have more money, more power, more prestige. They got the best coach, Kalen DeBoer. They could not have done any better. This is a great football coach and a guy who knows the portal and knows NIL. They went and got the best guy possible. Now, again, hiring the best person on paper doesn't mean it's going to be the best result. But what
I would clearly say, Fletch, regardless of who they hired, I don't care if they hired Bear Bryant. Chances are better than not, in 3 to 5 years, Alabama will be looking for another coach. Chances are better than not. I'm not saying I like the hire too. I think he's going to be successful. Chances are better than not. They'll be looking for a new coach within 3 to 5 seasons. But go on.
Yeah. I think they hope they're not. I think
Right,
they hope
of
they
course.
got their next great decade-plus leader. But you're right. Look, we'll know more once they start playing games and we see what Kalen DeBoer is all about in the SEC. But I know, look, I followed Washington and watched them a lot, obviously, recently. And talking to people that were in town, that were national people that cover that team. I mean, this is a guy with a sterling reputation that's known as a coach's coach that's done a lot of good things everywhere he's been. And again, who knows the portal, who knows NIL, how it translates, we're going to see. But look, every big coach was lined up, like rumored for this job. Lanning at Oregon, Norvell at Florida State, James Franklin at Penn State. I don't think they were ever going to get Sark back out of Texas, because Texas has too much money, too much power, too much prestige right now, that Texas is going to be a force for a while, I think. But anybody else, it was take your pick, and they went and got a guy that, look, I just don't think this hire could have gone any better for Bama. Now, again, you're replacing the greatest coach in the history of the sport.
Yep.
So the shoes to fill are massive, but on paper, I think they got their guy, so to say.
With Saban involved in the process, he was involved in who's going to replace him. Like I said, they got an office for him in the stadium. He's going to be part of the athletic department. He's staying in Tuscaloosa. It's just going to be really interesting. How many coaches on Saban's staff are retained? How many come from Washington? Is it keeping the same system in place? Is he changing the system? It's going to just be very interesting to see, especially with Saban being there. I almost think that's unfair in a way, but he's the king and he can do whatever he wants, but it almost seems like he should step away from the university, just go play golf every day. I don't want an office in the stadium. I'll get one in Tuscaloosa or have it in my house if I want. Real quick, Fletch, LSU fans. Okay, thank goodness he's gone from Alabama. That's a big plus. The greatest coach ever. You don't have to compete with him every year. The second thing is LSU fans reflect back and realize, wow, this guy was the foundation builder for this modern LSU program. You could argue LSU football this century, second only to Alabama. Maybe the second greatest college football program. Saban was the foundation builder. Miles embraced it. Ogeron embraced it. Kelly is even embracing things. There are things that Saban put in place that are still in place today with LSU football.
Yeah, I mean, look, LSU football had been, wasn't the SEC when Saban got there, wasn't the SEC of today, and LSU certainly wasn't LSU, and he pushed them. He was kind of that force multiplier that pushed them into one of the top 10 programs in the history of the sport. LSU always had probably the bones and the structure to be there, but they needed someone to push them, and he was that force multiplier, so to say, that pushed them to where they are now, because everything that he laid the foundation for, including that national championship, it started there. If you want to say, where did LSU, they became LSU, so to say, again, when Saban got there and turned that program back into something. So, yeah, I would agree that his fingerprints, even, zeroing in on 2 decades later, because he left obviously after the 2005 season, are still like on that program and felt at that place in some way.
No doubt. Your cohort in crime that you started with, Jacques Doucet up in Baton Rouge, he's been posting lots of old clips of Saban when he was LSU's coach, and they're just really interesting. That ran about need a new PMAC renovations, need a softball stadium. The softball coach has to go to Lafayette when they had a better record. I mean, he's just going off on what LSU did. We need a football operations center. Now, I'm not saying I haven't complained to anyone that we need one, but we need one. It's just great rants from Saban.
Yeah, it's good stuff, all those old clips. And so, but you see that, and that's what I'm talking about is it wasn't just rhetoric. He made a lot of those things reality because I think they knew we're going to lose him if we don't do this. Let's do it. And it pushed them. While people talk about things, he brought about action.
Yep. No, and he wasn't scared to insult LSU fans when he was Tiger coach and be like, grow up, this Brooke Trout look. You remember that? Just dogging the fans like, hey, you can be a winner. You can win during the day. You can win with different uniforms. Enough with the excuses. He was really, hey, Louisiana LSU fans, kind of grabbing us by the shoulders and shaking us a little bit. Brooke Trout look. Fletch, we only got one segment today. I gotta run, but thank you so much. And boy, you're not someone that I'm going to roast because you just, yeah. How about some laughing? And Corey, that's funny. You're right. My mom sends you a check. None of that.
Yeah, I mean, you're moderately humorous. How about that?
All right, I'll take that. Thanks,
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at us. Rouse's Markets phone lines. If you'd like to participate in the program, Miss Peach is at the controls on this Friday. Miss Peach is from Marrera. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. is going to join us in a moment. They had their annual luncheon meeting today, about 1,500 people showing up at the Hyatt, highlighting last year, previewing this year. We'll get all the highlights from that earlier meeting today and what's in store for the Crescent City, Greater New Orleans, Inc. economic opportunity for 2024 and what those guys accomplished last year. Michael Hecht in just a few minutes. That segment every week brought to you by Laitram, the global manufacturing giant. Laitram.com is the website. Laitram. If you're just a New Orleanian that loves our area, wanted to be proud of something, go to the Laitram.com website and see what they're all about. What J.M. LaPere is all about, inventing the shrimp peeling machine, the all-plastic modular conveyor belt, hundreds and hundreds of worldwide patents, inventions, things created at Laitram in Elmwood. No, it's an amazing success story for 75 plus years now. New Orleans born, based, bred. It's Laitram. Doesn't get much better than that. Check out the website. You'll be proud as a New Orleanian. And hey, if you're looking for a new job, a new career, Laitram's hiring. For a full listing of positions available, go to Laitram.com. Again, Laitram spelled Laitram, Laitram.com. Michael Hecht was emceeing his own event, the annual Greater New Orleans Inc. meeting / luncheon, about 1,500 strong, packing that major ballroom at the downtown Hyatt Regency. 20 years of G&O Inc. Michael Hecht joins us on the program again. What's up, Miguel?
Hey, KJ.
Congrats. Congratulations on the 20 years.
Thank you.
Michael, have you been there since day one?
No, I've been there since day 15. I joined, I started in May of 2008, believe it or not.
Wow. Unbelievable. Hey, what would you say the biggest accomplishment in your 17, 18 years there? What's the biggest accomplishment? I mean, the one that I think has the most splash that jumps out, kind of a, I guess the micro thing would be like the BA flight, the British Airways flight, and the macro thing that's more of a kind of general thing would be creating another entire economic arm for New Orleans. I mean, oil and gas is great. Tourism's fantastic. Biomed was growing, but tech didn't even exist. So those are two things that stand out for me. I guess the British Airways flight, if you want to point at something that's tangible, touchable, and then something that's just bigger that involves multiple people and companies, bringing the tech sector into New Orleans.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I think about this, there are definitely these specific things that are that stand out. The BA flight, passing the Homeowners Flood Insurance Affordability Act of 2014 to fix flood insurance back then. And then there are the more kind of general things like starting a tech sector, or I think the work that we're doing right now to make clean energy, and all of the above clean energy strategy, something that is accepted and celebrated. is also part of it. But probably, I mean, what somebody kind of said to me today, and I think is actually interesting, is that what is probably most significant but hardest to measure is how we've been able to bring people together on various efforts like the NOLA Coalition, or the Coalition for Sustainable Flood Insurance, or the work that we've done on the coast, or the work that we've done on Black entrepreneurship, where we've kind of served as the glue or the secret sauce that's brought people and organizations together to get things done. And it doesn't kind of stand out in as distinct a way as the BA flight or getting a law passed or landing, you know, like St. Charles Clean Fuel for $5 billion. But it's something more subtle and more, maybe more fundamental. It's about making the whole ecosystem actually working together better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. You highlighted the previous year earlier today at the luncheon and kind of gave us a look at what to expect maybe in 2024. What were those things?
You know, I think the biggest thing for the coming year is what's happening in energy. We've got billions of dollars being invested in our state in LNG, in carbon capture, in solar, in bio, in electric vehicle battery storage. And so I think the real story, you know, if we're smart about it, that comes out of this next year is that we have become kind of we're the energy state of not only the past, but the future. And it's an all of the above vision. I think the forcing function for all this, which nobody's talking about, that I think we need to talk about, is that, Corey, on February 9th, 2025, we got
13 months. Yep. I love it. That's
come on, bro.
No, you read my mind. I mean, that's one of my questions for you today. I like that we're hosting the Super Bowl for the obvious reasons. The Super Bowl, the tourists, the money, all of that, the free publicity. But I also like that it's lighting a fire under New Orleans's rear end. We got 13 months to get our you-know-what together, and it could be homeless encampments being cleared. It could be something like Top Golf for 504 golf being completed before the Super Bowl comes. It's a lot of, cutting down weeds, clearing graffiti, power washing, making it look like, hey, this is how our city is all the time, So I like that there's a fire under our rear end to get our act together in 13 months. I like that.
Yeah, it's what we call a forcing function.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And
a lot of people work better under pressure.
Right. No, we need it. I mean, I just finished reading the Elon Musk book, and he has these surges to get things done. So I told you, I was talking to the governor not long ago, and I said, look, we got this Super Bowl in about a year. That's wonderful. Let's use that as a forcing function to clean up the French Quarter, to get the infrastructure built, to make New Orleans safe, to get a good brand out there. What a perfect excuse to go a little bit overboard to make things better. So that was kind of how we ended the meeting today, is talking about the Super Bowl and how we're going to use that as a way to get ourselves focused.
You know what we need to do, Mike? I mean, I could do it, but, I think a lot of people know that's cynical Corey. He's always going to come up with the negative. It's like, yeah, I just don't have my head in the sand like you people. But I think what Greater New Orleans Inc. might need to do, and I'm not kidding, get a few different people that don't know the others are doing it, like get a group out of California, get one out of New York, something like that. Have them fly into the city, drive to their hotel, and tell you what's messed up. It could be, you got to get that graffiti off the train trellis. You got to cut these weeds here. Why is that fence broken there? Boy, I think that looks great. Why don't you light that thing up? I think we need some outside help, because we get numb to the mattress on the neutral ground, or the broken bridge, or the pothole. I get numb to it. We get used to it. We know how to avoid it.
That's such a brilliant idea. That's kind of like the analog of Lincoln having his cabinet of enemies, right? Bring in the people who are going to tell you what the real deal is. I think it's freaking brilliant. I mean,
No, because we could just put a little shine on the shoe. So all these people that have a lot of money that are your people, these CEOs and the NFL, the Super Bowl especially, it's not blue collar, it's not white collar, it's corporate. This is a major Greater New Orleans Inc. event. You couldn't get anything better than a Super Bowl. So at least, I say this jokingly, fooling these folks like, hey, this is how New Orleans always is and looks. I think we really need to push that. Anyway, Michael Hecht with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, what else was highlighted today? I mean, I heard the Bumpy Wheeler story. That was great. I mean, what were some of the other highlights today? What got you excited? Because there was a lot of momentum in the building.
So there are two sides to this. One is that, 2022 was a very difficult year for New Orleans. We had the tail end of COVID. We had Ida. We had the crime surge. And so a year ago, we were kind of hanging in the balance. And so I think the first message is that 2023 was a comeback year. People came back to New Orleans. We did really well on economic development. Tourism surged. Crime went down. So I think that was the first one, is that, okay, we bottomed out, we're coming back. And the second message was that there was a lot of good proactive stuff happening, big projects happening in clean energy, big projects happening in terms of new distribution centers being built, like the Propel Park in New Orleans East and the Gulf South Commerce Center. Some nice wins in tech with Big Fish Games moving here or opening up an office here from Seattle.
Yeah, hold on. Hold that thought, Mike. I want to talk about that specifically. Hang on real quick. A quick break. Coming right back. Michael Hecht with us on a Friday.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is open. Carrollton Avenue by the streetcar barn. As a matter of fact, they're open 7 days a week. They open every morning at 11 a.m. and they go straight through till 9:30 at night. Outdoor dining, indoor dining, to-go orders, lamb chop, shish kebab, all your favorite Middle Eastern food. Lebanon's Cafe. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. So good. Go check out Lebanon's Cafe. Michael, I guess we can handle outdoor dining right now. It's like 70, and then it's about to be cut in half. Boy, especially next week. Tomorrow morning, it'll be 40s in the morning, maybe even high 30s, lower on the North Shore. Next week, we're getting that wintry mix. Could you call Margaret Orr and tell her, hey, it's New Orleans. We're not supposed to have this stuff going down?
Yeah, so the whole thing about Arctic Blast that I don't get. First of all, it sounds like an Old Spice deodorant or like a vodka drink, right? Like
Either
what's
one.
an Arctic?
That's great,
right?
I'll take an Arctic Blast, no ice, shaken, not stirred. Oh, yeah, exactly. Hey, I got the Arctic Blast sun on. The women love it.
And second of all, like,
Wow.
yeah, like, so what? I don't understand. What am I supposed to do with my pipes? Do I wrap the outside? Do I go under my house and like wrap them? Like, what are you supposed to actually do?
Run the water, trickle that water like a little less than a pencil all night. Run up that water bill.
All right. Well, I'll do that. I'll help my friend Gassan. That's what I'll do. Because if you're running the water, the pipes are fine, right? Because it's really when they. Yeah, okay.
Hey, thank God for Gassan Corbin. That guy's the champion, I think. And folks like, Corey, what are you talking about? Yeah, the Sewage and Water Board's like, if they're a football team, they'd be like 3-14. I hear you, but this guy's building it back up from a losing team for decades.
He is. I mean, I'll tell you about Gassan. I know Gassan very well. He's smart and he has integrity.
Yep.
And
he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So, he's not the greatest politician, but that shouldn't be his number one job.
No, he's not a politician.
I think that the Sewer and Water Board has inherited a mess. They are slowly making progress. They're hindered by two things. I think, history and structure. It's hard to hire and fire people.
Yep.
And also just, they're a bunch of engineers. They're not good at faking it, so, right?
Yeah.
They're very literal.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan. I think they're doing better and better, and we're going to continue. We're going to over time. Let me give you an example, Corey. Last time somebody complained about a boil water advisory on the East Bank.
Yep, that's a good point.
The reason is because you have those hammer towers over on Claiborne,
keeping the pressure up. Yep.
Right, and so
solve the problem.
The way that you get credit or understand progress when you run the Sewer and Water Board is lack of attention, so it's difficult to appreciate what they're doing because it's actually the presence of absence that they're doing a good job.
Yeah, I like to say this was an 0-16 team. This was the Saints the first 20 years. And now we have Jim Finks and Jim Mora. You got a build it from zero, basically.
Well, that's right.
Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans. Michael, going in the break, you were talking about economic opportunity in New Orleans. What's the Seattle company that has a presence here now?
Big Fish Games. They're a mobile game developer.
Yep. Yeah, that's great stuff. Hey, I thought that was a great article. I get this guy on all the time on the program, Quinn Hillier, talking about, I think, Stinson, the mayor in Mobile, and the progress that Mobile, Alabama has had. I hate to say it, Michael. It's a trifecta. New Orleans could follow smaller Mobile, Alabama's lead. Louisiana could follow Alabama as a state's lead. And LSU could follow the University of Alabama when it comes to their turnaround and emphasizing academics and the growth of the school. We should be following Alabama. I mean, it's true, but it kind of bums me out all at the same time.
Yeah, well, all right, let's have a few things. Number one, Nick Saban's gone. Let's just appreciate that fact.
Yep.
Right? Good. That's good news.
Hooray.
Right, hooray. Second of all, I actually, the past few days, have been talking to a bunch of people about William Tate, the president of LSU, and how things are going at LSU. And it's been interesting. The consistent feedback I've gotten is that LSU is actually on a total upswing. Enrollment is up. Student quality is up. Tate is tough, but has a good vision. I am quietly optimistic about where LSU is going right now, actually.
I hope you're right. You know, all these sports guys, I say you need to stay in your lane. They're all, look at getting out of the sports thing. Look how Saban built Alabama. Alabama, a decade before Saban arrived, decided to focus on academics. We're going to give any national merit scholar in America a free ride. We're going to focus on out-of-state students because tuition's 3 times as much. On and on and on. They grew from about 18,000 students to about 27,000 when Saban got there, and they grew another 10,000 since he's been there. So this was pre-Saban. Saban almost has nothing to do with it except free marketing and promotion. Alabama made a concerted effort to be an academic school too. And I think LSU really needs to do that. Graded athletics should be, same as physics as football.
No, I mean, Alabama is absolutely the inspiration and also what should make us feel sad because it is, I mean, it's, Alabama, let's be honest, it's killed us on both sides.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they're symbiotic. So it absolutely can be done. I really like what I'm seeing in Tate. The football will take care of itself.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, our top students should not be going to Alabama because they're getting a better financial deal than staying in Louisiana.
No doubt. Hey, Michael, always a pleasure, brother. Let's talk about some economic, singles, doubles, triples, home runs, grand slams that might be coming online in 2024. Let's do that next week.
Got it, my friend. A long week. I appreciate you.
Yep. Appreciate you. Michael Hecht, fresh off of today's luncheon, 1,500 strong at the Hyatt. 20 years of Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, that's Blue Boy saying stick around. The 5 o'clock power hour on a Friday. Next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Ella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yabba Dabba Do is right. You heard that 5 o'clock whistle blowing, didn't you? Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. I love the Flintstones. I could go for a big rack of ribs that would literally knock my car on its side. That would be fantastic. Some Brontosaurus ribs. Where do I get those? Yeah. You right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fired up. The weekend is upon us. Did I mention it's the 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday? Did I mention the 5 o'clock whistle? We blow the 5 o'clock whistle each and every week around this time to put a spotlight on this time. 100% of the work week in the books. 100% of the weekend smack dab in front of us. Smell the roses. We do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. Hit it, Miss Peaches. I said we do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. Hit it, Miss Peaches. There it is. 5 o'clock whistle appropriately brought to you by Katie's. That's right. The 5 o'clock whistle is sponsored. Quit laughing over there, Miss Peaches. Brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? A little bit after 5 o'clock on a Friday. What a perfect wind down the work week place. What a great place for you and your buddies. Check out sports on the flat screen. You and the family. Great family-oriented place. Something for everybody, literally, at Katie's in Mid-City. As New Orleans as it gets, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Iberville, corner Talamacas. More is better, more of the good things. New Orleans specialties. Big portions, great for sharing, and full of a bunch of New Orleans characters. Katie's in Mid-City. 5 o'clock whistle on a Friday. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Speaking of New Orleans and food, coming up in about 10 minutes, Frank Brigtsen's going to join us from his restaurant, Brigtsen's, in the Riverbend. I love getting Frank on a Friday at 5:20. We do it every week. Just love winding down the week, talking what we love, food, great New Orleans food, from a guy who is a James Beard award-winning chef who owns a high-end restaurant that could be in any city in the world and would be one of that city's best restaurants. And the guy's like humble, like he's flipping burgers at a Burger King or something. Just a great New Orleanian, great guy. Frank Brigtsen in about 10 minutes on the program. Yeah, you right. All these segues, Miss Peaches. Speaking of Brigtsen's, Leidenheimer Baking Company, Leidenheimer French bread. From po' boy sandwiches to high-end restaurants like Brigtsen's, there's nothing like Leidenheimer French bread. I had some earlier this week. I got a to-go order from a restaurant. They gave me the little mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread with the little plastic to-go container full of room temperature butter, sweet, salty butter. Oh, my goodness. Threw that Leidenheimer mini loaf in the oven. Heated that bad boy up at 350 for about 5 minutes tops. It was, like burning my hands pulling it out. The outside crispy, piping hot. Break it open, just smoke pouring out of it, steam pouring out of it. Pulled out a little of that inside of the bread and then just blobbed butter on that bread. What were we talking about a little earlier, Miss Pizzas? Maybe that's the reason. Gaining a little weight, eating that entire mini loaf, literally. Ate the whole mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread with probably a half a stick of butter. Just so damn good, I couldn't stop. Wanted to stop, couldn't stop. And then when you're getting a po' boy in New Orleans, it could be roast beef, oyster, shrimp. It's got to be on Leidenheimer French bread. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm talking about Leidenheimer. It's just a fact. Just a fact. It's not a real New Orleans po' boy if it's not on Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer French bread holds all those ingredients together. Could you imagine one of these, high-end bakeries using their French bread loaf? You bite into it, it'd break apart. All the shrimp would fall out. Just not built for it. That Leidenheimer French bread, the po' boy bread of New Orleans, sloppy roast beef, shrimp, oyster, it all stays together with that Leidenheimer French bread. Truly good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread since 1896. Leidenheimer Baking Company. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. No, it pained me to tweet this today. about Alabama, the state, the university, the cities. New Orleans should follow Mobile and Birmingham's lead. Mobile, Quinn Hillier has an article in the Times-Picayune just about every Sunday. He was on the show earlier this week, Hillier and Hennigan. Quinn's a conservative-leaning guy, lives in Mobile now, has for a bunch of years. Had an article about, I think Stinson's the mayor's name. They don't have term limits there. I think he's 3 terms, like 12 years. Might run again. Just the turnaround that this guy has implemented in Mobile, it's nothing short of amazing. Mobile is desperately trying to become a city, not a large town. And they're right on the cusp. Their port, major expansion. More containers moved at the Port of Mobile than the Port of New Orleans now. There's just something fundamentally wrong with that. But I'm not in denial. I respect what Mobile does, even as a competitor. They built an interstate loop a few years back. They're about to spend $1 billion to build a bridge, get rid of that tunnel, or keep the tunnel, but build a bridge over the Mobile River, and then another $1 billion to connect that bridge to the eastern shore, kind of the north shore of Mobile, a new Jubilee Parkway. Austal, the shipbuilder, Airbus, airplane manufacturer, steel plant, move the airport, all kind of stuff. Mobile is booming, is really moving forward. So sadly, New Orleans should be following Mobile, Alabama, and Mayor Stinson and everything he's done, bringing the people together, black and white, Republican and Democrat. Everybody loves this mayor. Everybody loves what Mobile's got going. They passed a 1-cent sales tax, and folks see improvements all over the city, in every neighborhood. Parks and infrastructure improvements, better quality of life for the citizens of Mobile. Alabama, 30 years ago, not a car plant, nothing. Hey, let's be a car manufacturer. Let's aggressively go after these car plants. About 15% of all North American automotive jobs are out of the state of Alabama now. Multiple car plants, hundreds of part manufacturers and support companies. Now, Birmingham, Alabama has been growing and is roughly, it's less than 100,000 in the metro, short of New Orleans' metro. Metro New Orleans, about 1.2, 1.25 million. Greater Birmingham's like 1.15 plus, so maybe 75,000 less people in Metro Birmingham than Metro New Orleans. And within the next few years, Birmingham will catch stagnant, non-growing New Orleans and pass it in population in the Metro. Birmingham will be bigger than Metro New Orleans. I don't know, that kind of bums me out. And Mobile is about to catch us and pass us as far as economic growth, not population, but economy. And if that wasn't bad enough, I mean, if New Orleans shouldn't be following Mobile, if Louisiana shouldn't be following Alabama, LSU should be following the University of Alabama academically. Nick Saban retired. All these sports people on Twitter all around the country think they know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. They see the success of Nick Saban in Alabama football and automatically say, all this growth at Alabama is because of Nick Saban in football attracting people to the school. Google it yourself. Google University of Alabama enrollment numbers. In the 90s, they decided to focus in on academics. In the early 2000s, a new president came in and even took it up to a new level. Saban didn't arrive till 2007. Alabama's enrollment, pre-Nick Saban, the decade before Saban arrived, increased by about 10,000 students from around 18,000 to almost 28,000. Saban arrives, the next decade, they grow by the exact same number, about another 10,000 students to what they are presently, about 38,000 students. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Nick Saban, Alabama football success, and how that marketing and promotion helped grow Alabama as an academic school. But the wheels were already moving. They focused on Alabama before even Nick Saban as coach was even a thought in any Alabama coach's mind. When Saban was at LSU, Alabama was focusing on academics. When Saban was at Miami, Alabama was growing and focusing on academics. So before Saban got there, they grew by 10,000 students. While he was there, they continued that growth. Exact same level as before he got there. So Saban's not responsible for Alabama's academic growth. Alabama is, and LSU should be doing the same damn thing, following Alabama's academic lead. Frank Brigsten next.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock power hour on a fantasy Friday. Yeah, the weekend's upon us. 5 o'clock power hour this afternoon brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. Boy, nothing like Helm Paint. Over 50 years. Paint is all they do. Experts, great service, staff that'll actually help you, assist you. Benjamin Moore, high quality products. Some of the paints have a lifetime guarantee, like you'll never, ever paint again. 7 Metro New Orleans area locations. Free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro New Orleans. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans. And hey, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, that's right, Tiger Town. Helm Paint and Decorating's now in Baton Rouge. 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations in Baton Rouge. And just like New Orleans, free 2-hour delivery in the capital city. That means West Baton Rouge, like Brewley, Port Allen. That means East Baton Rouge, like Prairieville, even Gonzales. Free 2-hour delivery now in Tiger Town. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans and when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They will steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. Did I mention they're now in Baton Rouge too? I think I did. Hey, let's head to the historic Carrollton neighborhood of New Orleans, the River Bend. I love getting this guy on the program every week. James Beard, award-winning chef, yet humble like he's flipping burgers at the Burger King. Frank Brigsten joins us on the program. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. Where you at, Corey?
Where you at? Frank, let me ask you. Yeah, TGI Friday. Let me ask you, and I'm serious. I don't know if there's a secret to it or it's just how you were born or raised. You don't even think about it. It comes naturally. You're a James Beard award-winning chef. You work for Ella Brennan at Commander's Palace. You work for Paul Prudhomme at K. Paul's. You've had Brigtsen's for nearly 40 years with your wife and her sisters. It is a world-class restaurant. You know this. James Beard people know it. Could be in any city, anywhere in the world, and it would be one of the best restaurants in that city. I don't care if it's New York, Paris, San Francisco. How are you so humble? I mean, I can be kind of a cocky jerk. At least I think people think that sometimes. No one thinks that about you. No one said a bad thing about Frank Brigtsen ever.
Oh, that's very kind, and I really certainly appreciate that. I'm just grateful to be here, still doing what I love, and making people happy. That's my joy. And, every night in the dining room, I go visit somebody, and maybe it's somebody I've never met before, and we can share some of the good things in life, and that's what this business is all about.
I love the story you told me, repeated every now and then. You got that same couple coming in tonight, right? Same time. Yep. They order basically the same thing, and they've been at it for what, about 30 years?
38 years in March. Every Friday night at 7:30.
It's just that they're on the book. Do you even write them in the book, or you just know that table at 7:30 is theirs?
They're just in the book. They just let us know when they're not coming, and that's when they're out of town. So they'll be here, and we're all ready for them,
And what are we talking about? Like 45 Fridays out of 52 a year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy.
Wow. So, on Friday, you at least got a 2-top no matter what.
That's right. And they often bring friends.
Wow.
But, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to eat out every night. And each day of the week was a certain restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. And Tuesday night was Mexican night, and the gentleman doesn't care for it. So that was his poker night. So the girls went out for Mexican.
That's great. I love it, man. And they order basically the same thing every time, right?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Yep.
And we know all their little likes and dislikes, and they love the dirty rice. They don't get mashed potatoes. They get double dirty rice, even if it's a fish dish.
Wow. That's awesome. That's funny. Sounds familiar, Mr. Barbecue Shrimp, pecan, speckled trout.
Well,
pecan
those
pie,
are craving dishes,
andouille and chicken gumbo. Sounds familiar, Mr. Johnson. Yeah, y'all could just bring that stuff out. I'd be pretty happy. But like I told you, Frank, 2 crawfish. It was 3 crawfish dishes this off season. I'm 57. Every year I'm eating stuff in crawfish season. I went to La Boca, and Adolfo Garcia's chef, she made these empanadas with crawfish tails, fresh Louisiana crawfish tails. So it's basically like the best crawfish pie I've ever had in my life.
Delicious.
And then you had not one but two crawfish dishes. You had the crawfish and corn soup, which I was like, this might be one of the best soups I've ever eaten in my life. And then you had crawfish etouffee as an appetizer, where I got it as an appetizer. And like 2 nights later, I ordered 2 of them as a to-go order as an entree, because crawfish etouffee is like jambalaya. I think so many people just don't do it right. And yours is brown, not orange or red, just fantastic. But no, I mean, it's like we've been at this, Frank, for a long, long time, and I'm still discovering new stuff, and it's incredible.
It is, and that's kind of the beauty of eating. Even at home, there's a whole world of cuisines out there, and keep an open mind. Definitely go for the dishes you crave, but there may be something. Maybe it's something you've never had, or ingredient you've never had, or preparation of something familiar, and give it a try. You can really discover new things that bring you more joy, and that's what dining is all about.
Hey, what you got going on the menu? Kind of similar menu that you've had the last few weeks, or has something new and different popped in?
Yeah, no, it really hasn't changed much in the last couple of weeks. We're in a weird kind of season right now. There's virtually no local crab meat available, very, very scarce. And we're waiting for crawfish season, but the reports I've seen are not
good.
that good.
Huh? Yeah, it's going to be small and expensive, huh?
Expensive, yeah.
And small.
The drought we had last summer was really detrimental to the crawfish. They need water, of course, and their spawning season is in September. And you remember we had 0 rain in June, and very little last summer. And so, their breeding grounds were not ideal. So I don't think the crop's going to be that large,
right?
In terms of volume, and that'll make it expensive, which is fine, as long as I'm more concerned about availability.
Yep.
We usually get fresh crawfish tails mid to late February. I'm hoping that happens.
Frank, as a restaurateur, how do you deal with when prices go up on stuff? I noticed some things you'll literally not serve or take off the menu. I mean, I guess there hits a wall where you can't, some dish that folks are used to paying $32 for, it can't be $52 one day. It could go to 36 or 38 because of crab meat or whatever is expensive, but you can't, I guess there's a spot where you have to bail on increasing the price, right?
Absolutely, especially with seafood, because it's the most volatile food category, and it changes seasonally, and there's so many other factors involved. But you have to be flexible, knowledgeable, and be able to change your menu. If you're known for a single dish with crab meat on it, you're in a tough spot right now. There's Venezuelan and there's pasteurized crab meat, but do you want to showcase that? So we, like on our seafood platter right now, we have sea scallops 2 different ways. That's something that's really good right now. And these are out of Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Entree or appetizer?
Well, these are on the seafood platter.
Oh, nice.
So,
with about 4 other seafood items.
And they are huge and delicious. I commented on it the other day. They're gigantic. And they're great scallops. They're briny and sweet. And so we have one is on the seafood platter. One is baked scallop on the half shell with herb scent cream spinach and some grated Gruyere cheese on top, and that's baked. And then the other side of the platter is a seared sea scallop with stone ground grits with cream cheese in them, and topped with a very interesting sauce called mojo piquant, which is, or mojo. And it's a Spanish sauce, or Los Isleños sauce. It's a condiment that's made with a puree of roasted peppers. I use Anaheim peppers, banana peppers, and red bell peppers, fire roasted, peeled, pureed with a little tomato and seasonings and a touch of lime juice and vinegar.
Wow.
So it's this vibrant little condiment that tops a scallop, and that is delicious. I'm thinking about putting that on as an appetizer. But again, like you said, I got to do the math on it. I mean, these scallops are over $4 each.
You were reading my mind, though. Does anyone get the seafood platter and then request something additional from it? And would you do that? Or that wrecks the whole...
Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if that wrecked the whole thing.
We get people, they ask for an appetizer of whatever baked oyster we have on there. Right now it's an artichoke baked oyster. And we're happy to do that. Half a dozen baked oysters. That's a great appetizer. So we're happy to do that. And also the grilled fish on the seafood platter is often requested as an entree. I had friends last night, and all three of them ordered this grilled redfish with shrimp and pistachio lime sauce. And we just double up the fish portion.
That's what I was going to say. Is it a larger amount for the entree than the platter?
Yes. It's half a pound of redfish grilled.
Wow.
With potato and vegetable and everything. So yeah, I mean, if we can do it, we're going to do it. Whatever you request.
Hey Frank, I mentioned earlier, I'm like that couple that comes in at 7:30 every Friday. I'll come in but 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm getting the gumbo, usually chicken and andouille. Then I'm getting the barbecue shrimp appetizer. Then I'm getting the speckled trout or flounder with the pecans and the meuniere. And then I'm getting pecan pie with caramel sauce to end it. Why don't you get what? I know, incredible. I'm with you. You're the man. Give us a 4-course meal outside of the 4 things I just mentioned. That I think all those go together wonderfully, by the way, those 4 things I just mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's a great Brigsten's meal. And I'm happy to do that. Last night, my friends were in, and I happened to have time to sit down with them, so I did. And I had a cup of gumbo. That's all I had, and that's a great start. And then I would have the Caesar salad with homemade croutons and marinated white anchovies. I would get the sauteed veal with oysters and brie red peppercorn sauce. And I love the pecan pie, of course. I'm also partial to the lemon icebox creme brulee.
Wow.
Especially if you're a little full, it's a nice way to kind of end the meal, and the lemon is kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I love going with friends and family because my brother's getting that, and I'm going to, hey, I'll trade you a little pecan pie bite for the creme brulee bite, those kind of gimmicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharing food.
Yeah, food is about sharing. And, someone might be torn on what to get for dessert. And so you each get one, and you take a little bite of the other. So that way everybody's happy.
I was always a big fan at Trey Inn of those tables with the lazy Susan thing in the middle.
Yeah.
You get like 8 people, and you got that thing that spins, and you're getting all kind of different items, and everybody's sharing. It's just.
I love that.
No, I love that too.
My mom had a lazy Susan on our kitchen table. That's usually where the French bread and butter was.
Nice. There you go. Exactly. I was talking about, I knocked back an entire mini loaf of Leidenheimer the other night, fresh out the oven, about half a stick of butter. Couldn't help myself. It's piping hot.
I took a loaf of that bread home last night. Marna cooked me 2 hamburger patties, and I had a hamburger po' boy.
Nice. Just cut it right down the middle and just laid those patties on that.
Delicious.
Boy, that's incredible. Yeah, I basically put it in the oven and heated it up, and then knocked that whole mini loaf out with about a half a stick of butter.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just good. So good. Frank, we missing anything? What are y'all looking like tonight and tomorrow night? Any openings?
I went and looked at the book before I got here, Corey, and we have a sweet opening tomorrow, Saturday at 5:30, and it's a 6-top.
Top tomorrow, Saturday at 5:30, early dinner, 6 people, Brightson's. That's nice, man. All right.
It is.
861-7610 is the phone number. 861-7610. That's a rarity, Frank.
It is a rarity, and it could be a 4-top too. But if you're interested, get some friends together and come. I don't think there's any football tomorrow, is there? Or is there NFL?
Yeah, I got NFL playoffs over the weekend. Yep.
Who cares? Come eat dinner.
Exactly. The Saints aren't involved. You can check the score on your phone if you're a gambler or something.
Football is dead to me now.
No, it's true. Tulane, LSU, and Saints are done until next year.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Frank?
That's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Don't eat too much king cake. We still got 4 weeks to go, 5 weeks to go. So pace yourself.
Yep. So true. Exactly. I've already had a few different variations of king cake, different ones. I'm still Frank, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm still like the plain Jane. I'm not a big, cream stuffing, whatever. I just like the regular plain Jane. And I'm going to admit this. I'm telling you up front, Frank, it's a terrible king cake. Okay. I wouldn't recommend it to outsiders, but I grew up eating it. So I'm going to go get one of the small ones, that lousy Mackenzie's king cake. I love it.
Delicious.
Isn't it delicious, that crappy king cake?
It is. Absolutely.
It's so basic and vanilla compared to the modern king cakes.
And where do you get that? Like Tasty Donuts?
Exactly, Frank. Any of those tasty locations. I'll go through that drive-through one on like Clearview by what is that, West Metry?
Right.
There's that right there by I guess across from the Rouses or whatever. They got that one with the drive-through. There's a few locations.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sounds good to me. Y'all have a great weekend. Love y'all. And get ready for the cold next week.
I know what's coming. King cake bread pudding.
Yeah, starting Tuesday, actually.
Nice. We'll get an idea what that's all about next week when you join us. Thanks so much, Frank.
Sure will. Take care, Corey. Thank you.
Okay, brother. 861-7610. 861-7610. That's the phone number at Brightson's. Put it in your phone. Go online, brightsons.com. Brightsons spelled BRIGTSENS. Brightsons.com. You can see their to-go menu. That's just a recommendation. You can order off the regular menu. The to-go menu are items that travel really well. But I order off the regular menu all the time. Plus, they got an opening tomorrow night, 5:30 for 6 or 4. 861-7610. Put the number in your phone. You won't be disappointed. Brightson's in the Riverbend. So good. Miss Peaches, I love the Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I need the Fantasy Friday edition of the program. It can be stressful talking about the pluses and minuses of the greater New Orleans area and Louisiana. It can be a tough week. Friday, I get to exhale a little bit. Hey, speaking of quality New Orleans positives, how about Blue Plate mayonnaise? Huh? Now, some of you are going to the grocery going, where's my Blue Plate? I don't see my Blue Plate mayonnaise. It's there. Just that old Blue Plate mayonnaise label that you're used to for decades and decades and decades. That label's been replaced. But the goodies inside the jar, still that wonderful Blue Plate mayonnaise, that time-honored recipe. So new look, same legendary taste, different label, same great Blue Plate mayonnaise you've always loved. A New Orleans family tradition since 1927. Blue Plate mayonnaise.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us always. Radio, television, live streaming on YouTube. You can find out all the different ways to check out the program via our website, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E, CoreyTalks.com. You can even go to CoreyJohnson.com. It'll steer you in that direction. Hell, you can put COREY Johnson.com and it'll steer you in that direction. So it's real easy. But the official site is CoreyTalks.com. And it has our radio stations where you can check us out. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. It's got our television stations that carry us from 4 to 5:30. Cox Channel 4 all over the state of Louisiana. Spectrum Channel 333 all over the state of Louisiana. We're on YouTube. Go to the search bar on YouTube, put in The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost a thing. Yeah, CoreyTalks.com has all that information. Live streaming links. That's the best way. CoreyTalks.com. Hey, want to thank Fletcher Mackel joining us in the 4 o'clock hour. Michael Hecht joining us in the 4 o'clock hour from Greater New Orleans Inc. Frank Brigsten just joining us talking food. Yeah, you right. Hey, every day we do this program live from the Buddy Deliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. It's like 70 degrees right now, but the temperature is plummeting each and every hour. It's starting right now. It's going to be 60, 50s, 40s, like by 10, 11 tonight, midnight. And then tomorrow morning when you wake up, maybe high 30s. Definitely on the North Shore, high 30s. It might be low 30s, around freezing on the North Shore tomorrow. So you North Shore folks, the triple Ps, pipes, plants, pets, most importantly, pets, prepare and take care of them. No, we're going to half our temperature from like 70 to like 35, feels like, in just the next few hours. And then Monday, rain coming and absurdly low temperatures on Tuesday and Wednesday, like 25 in the teens on the North Shore. The hell with that. And then by the end of next weekend, another cold front coming in. We have a nasty wintry mix. Like the next week and a half or so, the next week to 10 days, I've never seen so many low temperatures as a New Orleanian in my life. Not straight. How about you, Miss Peaches? You're 73. You've been around a lot longer than me over there on the Best Bacon Marrera. Now, I know you like to think the temperatures in Marrera are so much nicer than New Orleans proper. That's not true. They're basically the exact same thing. These are the low temperatures over the next week and a half. Today it was 45. Tomorrow it's 39. Sunday, 44. Monday, 43. And that's when that rain and cold front Arctic blast rolls in. Tuesday, 29 degrees is the low. Wednesday, 25 degrees is the low. Thursday, 43. Friday, 37. Next Saturday, 31 is the low. Next Sunday, 31 is the low. What the hell is that, Miss Peaches? 45, 39, 44, 43, 29, 25, 43, 37, 31, 31. Where am I, in Denver? It's New Orleans. What the hell? No, we hit our high today, 70 plus degrees. Some of the high temperatures over the next week to 10 days, I don't think we're going to see 60. 40s and 50s for the highs. Crazy temperatures, including about 4 days where we start the day, 4 days over the next week and a half, over the next 10 days, 4 of them. We start below freezing in the morning. Me, no likey at all. I don't like that at all. I'm almost like scared of the cold weather. Anyway, yeah, just bundle up. And you're probably going to have to run the pipes a little stream of water overnight so you don't bust the pipes. The pipes don't freeze. Anyway, some crazy weather coming up. Hey, guys, 4 weeks from this Wednesday, first off, 4 weeks from this Tuesday's Mardi Gras. 4 weeks from this Wednesday, not only Ash Wednesday, 4 weeks from this Wednesday, Valentine's Day. 4 weeks from this Wednesday, Valentine's Day. How about getting her real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old, from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers? I've started a trend. I've been talking about real natural diamonds for a few years now. Been talking about Friend and Company Fine Jewelers for about a year now. And the only reason I agreed to promote Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, a few reasons. I know Ken Friend. I trust Ken Friend. They've been doing it for 50 years, family-owned business. I've purchased jewelry. This Breitling watch, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. Plus, Ken Friend and Friend and Company Fine Jewelers always does it right. They'd never, ever consider 3-week-old man-made lab-created diamonds. Like a lot of diamond jewelry stores, both locally owned and nationally owned, they're full of lab-created diamonds. They make a bigger profit. They're pushing them on you because they'll put they have 1,000 lab-created diamonds in their showroom, and they've got one set of real natural diamonds. and they put them next to each other. They look the same to the naked eye to the layman. And then you're getting them for like half the price of real diamonds. Real diamonds appreciate in value. Natural diamonds depreciate in value. I love Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Valentine's Day, 4 weeks from Wednesday. They've got everybody's price point. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. You can walk out with a single piece of jewelry from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers that could run north of $100,000, and I'm not kidding you. And then the opposite is true. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Ken Friend, has real diamond stud earrings, real diamond tennis bracelets, real diamond necklaces, real natural diamond engagement rings. He has an entire room dedicated to all of this, and everything in that room under $1,000. I'm not kidding you. Everything in that room, stud earrings, tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, engagement rings, everything in it under $1,000. That means for a few $100, you can walk out of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers with real natural diamonds for her for Valentine's Day. Did I mention every price point? They got you covered. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Corey Johnson with you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. Hey, Fausto's Italian Bistro opened their doors just a few minutes ago. They roll till 10 p.m. tonight. They'll go 5 to 10 tomorrow night. Dinner at Fausto's. Indoor dining, of course. Outdoor dining tonight before it gets cold. Some of the city's finest Italian and Sicilian. Dinner tonight, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Yeah, you're right. I hear that Mardi Gras music. You know what that means, huh? 4 weeks from this Tuesday, Mardi Gras, your Rouse's Markets, it's like crawfish season. No one sells more boiled crawfish. No one sells more live crawfish by the sack than Rouse's Markets anywhere in the world. And no one sells more king cakes than Rouse's Market over Mardi Gras. More king cakes sold from Rouse's than anywhere in the world. If you love king cake, I'm a native New Orleanian. Do you think for a minute, because I promote Rouse's, I'm going to tell you their king cakes are great if they're not? I put Rouse's king cakes up against just about any king cake. They're fantastic. There's like 20 plus flavors. And I'm not into the flavored king cakes. I like the basic original Rouse's king cake. This is like a 40 plus year old recipe, that cinnamon dough. Rouse's king cakes are fantastic. Go to rouses.com. You can send those Rouse's king cakes, any flavor, to friends and family anywhere around the country. Rouses.com. If you go into any of the 60 plus Rouse's right now, it smells like Mardi Gras in Rouse's, because each and every Rouse's baking those king cakes fresh. And they even sell you know what I love about Rouse's? The king cake by the slice. You don't have to buy the whole king cake. You can buy 2 or 3 slices, 1 slice, whatever you want. Right when you walk in, the table's set up, 20 plus flavors, boxes and boxes of king cakes coming out fresh, piping hot from the bakery at that Rouse's location. No, tastes like home, smells like Mardi Gras. Sense of Mardi Gras in each and every Rouse's, because it's king cake time. Rouse's Markets, tastes like home. Corey Johnson, Fantasy Friday. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Mardi Gras, 4 weeks from this Tuesday. That quick. That means in about if it's 4 weeks from this Tuesday, in about 2 weeks, we'll start seeing parades like every other night. And then on the weekends. And then in about 3 weeks, it's straight through. That like 10-day run where there's a parade every single night, multiple parades all over into Parish, the Uptown route. Yeah, you're right. Super Bowl coming in 13 months. Next month, it's in Las Vegas. In a year, New Orleans. Lights a little fire under our rear end to get the city ready for that Super Bowl. I love that. 2024 has the potential to be a very good year, a positive year for Metro New Orleans. Let's embrace it. Let's do our part and make it happen. Attitude helps too. You know, you have a negative, cynical, jaded attitude. That's what you're going to be. You have a positive attitude and you're not in denial. You know, it's legitimate positives. That's the way you're going to be. So, yeah, let's get a positive attitude, embrace 2024, and move New Orleans forward, huh? Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. What's that, Blue Boy? The Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, you're right. And now the legendary truck dealership, Crescent City Ford, under the Lamarck umbrella. Blue Boy, you're right. Lamarck Automotive Complex, and now the Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.